go any place asking questions and trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I saw a report that they're blocking. I'm sorry to interrupt. I saw a report in the AP yesterday. They're trying to block Republican groups from going and looking at the Gulf. I mean, Obama doesn't have that power.
Yeah, well, he might take it. He doesn't deserve that power, but sometimes they assume power that they have. But just no, he doesn't. That's not a proper power that he has. So I'm not too pleased either. And I think a BP corporation is in bed with government, so you have to be suspect. Just think of how much we spend protecting their oil well and their oil drilling. What do you think we're over in the Middle East for? We're not over there to spread democracy. We're over there to protect oil companies, and BP just happens to be over there as well.
Did you see the video? You probably didn't 2 weeks ago, but it was on Drudge and Infowars.com and everywhere else. Senator Kyle said he was in a closed-door meeting with Obama and said, look, tens of thousands dead, 80 miles to 100 miles, illegal aliens, they're shutting down national parks, the border's collapsing, Mexico's collapsed. And Obama said, I'm not going to fix the border till you pass amnesty. I need to use that crisis. This is a quote. And Senator Kyle said that this is basically holding us hostage in a form of terrorism. I mean, that sounds like an impeachable offense, Congressman. And to have a senator say he was in a meeting with Obama, A, what's your take on that? And B, I mean, that is a false flag to let the crime continue and not protect our border when that's in the Constitution, one of the few duties of the feds. What would you say to that?
Well, since I wasn't at that meeting and exactly what it said, I don't know, so it would have to be up to the senator to decide what to do with it. But they certainly don't act like they have an incentive to do much with the borders, and that, of course, could eventually lead to a national security problem as well.
Well, okay, Congressman Ron Paul, what about his executive order? And now they say they're going to sue Arizona, and they're saying Arizona isn't allowed to protect itself when a third of the state is now being denied to the citizens. I mean, this is confirmed. What's your view on the constitutionality of an executive order by the president to legalize the illegals?
Well, he can't do it unilaterally like that. No, Congress would have to act and take a policy on that and write the rules. Our federal government has authority over our borders, but, it should be that the private landowners should have a lot of authority, along with the states themselves with jurisdiction. And yet, instead of permitting them to exert their authority over their own land, whether it's their own private or the state, the federal government comes in and says you can't do it. So they're acting perversely to what I think the federal government ought to be doing.
Congressman, I know you're a busy man, but have you had a chance to watch Kagan and the hearings, and then expanding on that, all of her open statements about socialism being great and the government can disappear speech, going back to that, are you concerned about Kagan?
Oh, I am, but I'm sure if he put 10 new ones up in place of her, I'd be very concerned, too. I haven't watched the hearings, but I've read about her, and she certainly is not going to be a great defender of the Constitution, although she's going to make it sound like she is. So I'm not too encouraged with that appointment, for sure.
Congressman, what's your take on the Russian spy situation? It seems like they're trying to kick off a new Cold War with that, and my issue is globalization is treason. Globalization is corporations and megabanks taking over our government. And so what is the difference between Russian spies sneaking around and mega corporations coming in and openly buying off our politicians?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of hype. I think even the media, the mainstream media is sort of making fun of all this, and I think rightfully so. They just didn't look like a great threat to me. And I had somebody in for a luncheon today that was sort of knowledgeable about this, and he said that there's so much spying going on in the world. Other countries come in here, they do it routinely, and we're all over the place, all over the world, and it's almost, he described it almost like a game they play. I mean, it's really not serious intrigue, and my guess is that people like to stir things up, scare the people, and who knows, I hope it doesn't lead to another Cold War with the Russians. I don't think they're looking for trouble, and we certainly shouldn't be looking for it either.
All right, Congressman Ron Paul, we appreciate your time. In closing, and I know you'll say, well, if I was president, I would only have the powers of the president. But what would you recommend? What would you do? If Ron Paul would have been elected back in 2008, as we all wish you would have been, forecasting everything that's now happened, if you would have been elected, what would you have done with the oil spill, and what would you be doing now?
I'd probably work at getting the government out of the way. I would have done everything possible to alleviate any federal restrictions on the states or property owners. I would have accepted anybody who had an offer to come in and help. I would have worked to remove any liability limitations on BP, and I would have, of course. And by that time, by the time we had the oil spill, I would have had all the guard units back in the individual states, and they would have had the right to use their guard units as they pleased. And I would actually encourage other guard units and not pretend the guard units belong to the president, but they belong to the states and the government. And I think they could have done a lot to alleviate some of the damage. I do not believe that there would have been any magic with any one individual who say, "Oh, I know how to cap this thing. Let me do it." I actually do believe they're trying seriously to stop this. I don't think it serves anybody's benefit, but I think right now the assumption is the government, didn't have a role to play, and what they did was actually made this worse because of the rules of pushing them out into deep sea drilling. That was part of the problem too. But I would not have closed down drilling like Obama wants to do. That's not going to help us. That just makes the unemployment problem that much worse.
Well, the Russians and the Chinese and the people in Brazil, they're not stopping drilling in the Gulf. We don't own the Gulf. He's just stopped any companies in the U.S. I mean, this is outrageous, and they're going to use it to pass cap and trade. Congressman Ron Paul, everybody's got to get behind Campaign for Liberty. They got to get behind Rand Paul. We're going to win this, and we appreciate your leadership, and we know you're there working tirelessly for us in Congress. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. There goes Congressman Ron Paul, and we are out of time. No more time for calls. I got to most of the news today, and I want to say great job to the crew. I also want to encourage listeners to support the online video, bookstore, shopping cart at Infowars.com. We're not funded by the New World Order or big global corporations. We're funded by small sponsors and by you buying the books, the T-shirts, the videos. Got a lot of new books and videos and specials and free T-shirt deals up on Infowars.com. Or you can always call toll-free 888-253-3139. We've got some other very informative guests joining us tomorrow and next week, of course, steaming towards the 4th of July. I hope everyone will remember what the 4th of July is really all about. And at the end here, I wanted to thank Inner Health Botanicals. Just a wonderful sponsor, and you really need to listen to me. I search high and low because I like green energy foods that are just raw foods, that aren't pasteurized, that haven't lost their value. This is the best out there, and of course it's owned by Patriots, and it's very affordable. It has 20 organic superfood ingredients in it. It won the 2009 Superfood from Mike Adams, the Health Ranger Award. They have their NutriCafe coffee, but really their inner food is their classic. They got a lot of great products, all made right here in the USA. And it's just raw foods concentrated, and it's just a few scoops in the morning with your orange juice or apple juice or with water or coconut juice, whatever you like. Inner Food, E-N-E-R Food, innerfood.com, E-N-E-R Food.com, or 866-762-9238, 866-762-9238, innerfood.com. And lastly, it's not enough to just own guns. You need to know how to use guns. And they've had this great deal for a free Springfield Armory XD pistol in the caliber of your choice with one of their basic training packages. And believe me, you cannot beat this deal. No drill instructor, no tough guy attitude, the best training out there. I heard about these guys a decade ago. I mean, with police and military, I know that go there to tune themselves up. It is frontsight.com, Frontsight Firearms Training, frontsight.com. Go to frontsight.com for your free training and free gun. Learn more at frontsight.com, ladies and gentlemen. Frontsight, like the front of your rifle, frontsight.com. And just in closing, again, the broadcast is exploding. More and more people are tuning in. You are the reason we're getting on so many AM and FM stations. You are the reason so many people are downloading the free MP3 podcast every day and sharing it in the free iPhone app. Listen where you want, when you want. We've got the free app, too, for the Android out there listed on the listen page. All of it's at Infowars.com. Got some big news breaking tomorrow. Be sure and join us at 11 a.m. God bless.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle